All right, so I just got out of a panel that was called Live 360 Video and VR, the Immersive Revolution. Essentially dealing with the fact that 360 video is a new thing right now, it's a revolution that's happening, and virtual reality is going to allow for this incredible immersion to happen when it comes to live events. And actually in the panel we ended up talking about, or they rather, ended up talking about current events as well, about journalism and how 360 video could probably be used as a method to have people experience what is otherwise a maybe cataclysmic event or just some sort of really historical event that's happening right then and there.
So you feel like it kind of democratizes a lot of events that usually would come off as very exclusive?
I think it provides augments the existing live streams, whether it's a sports. You're at the NBA, we stream the All-Star game with the NBA, and things like that. It creates a new perspective. That rather than having the cameraman shot, you actually have a shot that you're courtside sitting there and you're able to look around and control your view. It puts a whole new perspective on the game, of live streaming the game.
The panel included a associate from Riot, Jen Duong, who does a lot of VR stuff. After that, you have Jeffrey Jacobs, who was a part of a lot of the productions at MTV that helped with red carpet VR 360 type deals, especially for live streaming and second screen situations. And then Miles McGovern, who is with IM360, which is a well-known VR full platform type of company that creates all of these experiences via VR and 360 video. Now, the interesting thing about 360 cameras, as they are becoming more common, especially with Samsung and LG bringing out their 360 cameras, is the fact that these 360 cameras aren't necessarily ones that you could just start bringing everywhere with you. You have to sort of think about how the immersive quality of 360 video is going to make the audience connect with your content.
Okay guys, the only way this works if we're just not another schmuck putting a camera on a red carpet and just seeing what happens. Because then 180 degrees is boring, 20 degrees and 20 degrees is black gack and scaffolding. Another 30 degrees is someone you don't want to see, is the producer you don't want to see. So then we're doing all this work for 75 degrees, point.
So a lot of the time the content is going to have to change. There was one example that was given during the Q&A that spoke about Cirque du Soleil actually changing the entire production so that they were doing everything in the round. And that actually made a lot of sense, because if you're going to have the VR goggles or even just the phone that you're using to be able to go around the various parts of the huge 360 frame, then you will have to have content catered specifically to you, or you're going to have a hole of pretty much nothing going on in one particular area. It wouldn't really make sense if you had somebody just in front like this and then everything behind them had no purpose whatsoever.
Naturally, you're directing the audience's agency instead of, putting a nice blinking thing going, look here, so you can see this actor or this actor. It's kind of just like, it's a natural thing that you get to be a part of.
Totally.
Yeah.
What I thought was really interesting was that these 360 cameras have been used for a lot of different occasions, but it's only really now that we're seeing VR and 360 be used for live streaming events. And in this case, in one case, there was the NBA All-Star game that was done just maybe a couple of months ago, or a month ago rather, and there are a number of red carpet events that are being used for it also. What Jeff in particular said, being the MTV person, was that what he thought was a successful VR experience is that if you're seeing something right in front of you, but you're able to turn around and see the reactions of the people that are in the audience, that is a successful platform for VR.
What's the role of privacy and consent for 360 live events?
I think most of the events that we do, you give that up when you buy your ticket. It's something that you consent to when you buy your ticket at a sporting event or a concert or something. And we also have ways of blocking things out and doing things.
When it came to Miles McGovern's thoughts about VR, it was more on the technical side, especially considering that all of these phones that we're using right now, including Samsung and this version right here, even though it doesn't use the actual phone screen for the VR platform, is that the decoders for the actual videos, for the actual 360 videos, aren't necessarily catered to the high bandwidth, to the actual high amount of data that's being used. So the hurdle right now is being able to create this content and make it easy for all of the people who have phones like this to be able to actually digest it. And then finally, as might be one of the main points about VR right now, one of the biggest hurdles is the fact that VR is not necessarily marketable. It is marketable, it is an incredible experience that you can tell people is an incredible experience, but they won't really buy into it until they actually try it. You've seen that happen with me, Lon, pretty much everybody at Android Authority that has put on, in particular, in HTC Vive. And that makes a lot of sense. It's until you actually do get to experience it that you will be able to buy into this new system. So I just wanted to give you a quick reaction. This is finally the first panel that I was able to attend when it comes to VR and 360 video, and that's obviously going to be a focus for us here currently at Android Authority for South by Southwest. So I want you guys to stay tuned for that. I already saw a couple of demos in a couple of different places, especially from Samsung and one from HTC, as they partnered up with McDonald's of all people. And you will be able to see some of that over the next few days, so make sure you stay tuned here to Android Authority because we are your source for all things South by Southwest.